Can you see me at all?
Hey everyone, my name is Monroe Man with Break Diving. I'm currently in Florida. We have Ruth
Okay.
who is in Nigeria and Shemaine who's audio only who is in Zimbabwe. Today we are having a Break Diving book club event talking about the awesome book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And before I get into my thoughts on this, I was talking with Ruth and Shemaine about theirs. And Shemaine, you said you've finished the whole book. Can you tell how has the book helped you? What's the main point that you got from it?
Okay, the main point was that I don't have to necessarily depend on educating myself, right? Uh, uh, sort of I can do other things, right, to earn income,
Good.
like investing, real estate.
Yeah, exactly. I'll correct you. He doesn't say that you don't have to educate yourself. You do need to educate yourself, but you don't need to have a formal education
Okay.
make money, because you still need to know how does the stock market work? How do you invest in real estate? How do you manage money? That's still education, right?
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, even reading the book itself, you're educating yourself. So just be careful. You need education, but you need the right kind of education. And I think the main point that you said is, or one of the main points is that you can make money in many different ways. You don't need to just have a job to do that. Ruth, you had some thoughts on this. What did you share? I think you're halfway through the book now. What did you gather from halfway?
Yes. I I got to understand that you don't have to think that you can't do. There is actually nothing that you can't do. It's all about it's all about your mindset. Yes, the power to create wealth is right there in your mind, the way you think about money, the way you see money, and the way you are willing to have different options to yourself. Where he talked about financial intelligence. So being rich, having money is not all about having it right there, right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about your ability to think vastly how you can create money. So that is what I learned about it.
Excellent. I agree with that too. I think the book is helping people to realize that you can create money. You don't
Yes.
just have to work 9 hours
Yes.
a day and then get a tiny salary and then struggle every day. You can do better for yourself. The
Yes.
main 3 points that I
Yes.
shared in the chat room earlier. By the way, for those of you watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel, and you can also be a member of Breakdiving and join these events too at breakdiving.io. You can find the link in the description. The most important thing I always take from Rich Dad Poor Dad is that it's a philosophy. A lot of people read that book and then they get discouraged or they get angry because the book doesn't turn them into a millionaire immediately. And the book does not,
Yes.
it's not a become rich tomorrow type of book. It's a
Yeah.
philosophy to teach you how to think differently about money. And like you said, Ruth,
Yes.
it's not going to be something that's going to change your life today. You have to put the plan into motion. And maybe in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, you'll start to benefit from a new way of managing your money. The second thing that I love about it is
It's a gradual process.
gradual process. And those people who put into practice what Rich Dad Poor Dad recommends, they see a change in their lives. They do. It takes some time, but if you look at the people who don't read Rich Dad Poor Dad and the people who do, in general, I tend to see that those who actually put it into practice 5 years later have a much better financial situation than they did than the people who didn't read the book and just keep doing it. The second thing was never, and this is along the lines of what you said, Ruth, there's nothing you can't do. He said, stop saying, I can't afford it. I can't afford this. I can't afford that. I can't do that. The question should always be, how can I afford it? How can I do that? And I mean, you see it.
Exactly.
I mean, here in Naples, Florida, where I am right now for a job interview, some of the houses are $20 million. Very, very expensive. And a lot of people always look at that and just wistfully think, oh, I could never afford that. Well, of course you won't if you keep saying, I can never afford that. I mean, the odds are of most people are not going to be able to buy a $20 million house, but certainly you'll have a better chance if you ask, okay, how could I make enough money that I could buy a $20 million house? Because that's, at least from there, it gives you a lot of opportunities. Maybe you think, I'm going to come up with the new Facebook, or I'm going to invent a new car, or I'm going to start a new business that's going to. And so I think that's one of the greatest foundational principles of the book is stop
Yes.
putting obstacles in your path. And if you can just start asking, how can I? All of a sudden it starts to generate ideas, and your mind starts to work in a more entrepreneurial problem-solving fashion. And so that's helped my life tremendously. It's how can I, how can I? And then the third thing, which I think is actually the most impressive of them all. Ruth, by the way, are you still there? I think we may have lost Ruth, at least temporarily. Shemaine, you're still with us, yeah?
Yeah, I'm still in.
So the other thing, Shemaine, that I love is don't measure your wealth in terms of how much money you have. And I love this because there are some people who maybe make $300,000 a year, but here's the good now. Someone makes $300,000 a year, but the mortgage on their house, let's just say, is $50,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So that person, if he lost his job and had $300,000 in the bank, could survive for 6 more years in that house, right? Which is simple math, but 300,000 divided by 50,000. Well, let's say there's somebody else. Hey, welcome back, Ruth.
Thank you.
Did you make $1 million when you were gone?
No, I did.
Oh, I
It's
thought she was going to come back
network
and say,
issue.
I did it. I did it. I just bought the $1 million house while I was off. And then I was talking to Shemaine, and then there's a woman who she only has $50,000 in the bank, but her monthly rent is $1,000 a month. And, excuse me, let's just say the yearly is like $5,000.
Okay.
So if you think about that, actually, I need to give you a better example. Let's say the rent is $3,000. I have to do better math. So here, we'll do an annual thing for 1 year. So the first person has $100,000 in the bank. Actually, let's make it even better situation. The same people, both have $100,000 in the bank. The first person has to pay $10,000 a month in rent. The second person pays $2,000 a month in rent. Who is wealthier? Think about it.
Can you come again?
All right, so think it. Ruth has $100,000 in the bank. Shemaine, you have $100,000. You both have the same amount of money in the bank, and you lost your jobs today. You don't have any more money, but you have this $100,000 in the bank. Ruth, she pays $10,000 a month for her apartment.
Okay.
Shemaine, you pay $2,000 a month for your apartment. Who is the more wealthy person?
I think Charmaine.
Okay, you can think what you want, but you have to give an explanation. Why? You both have the same amount of money in the bank. Ruth pays $10,000 a month in rent. Charmaine, you pay $2,000 a month. So I agree with you that you would be the more wealthy person. Why? According to what's in Rich Dad Poor Dad.
According to that, like that cash flow where we have assets and liabilities, right? So yeah,
Ruth, are you there?
yeah.
Wow.
I think my network is acting up. Okay, anyway, I was saying, I think according to that cash flow, right? That cash flow that in the book, right?
Yeah. So
Um,
who's gonna have more cash flow, better cash flow over the year?
I mean, the one who pays less rent, is it?
Yeah,
The
the
one who
the
pays
one who
less rent.
pays less, because at the end of the year, think about this. If it's $10,000 a month for Ruth, is she going to survive for the whole year in her $10,000 a month apartment? No, she's going to run out of money after 10 months. Where
Yes.
you, Charmaine, at the end of the year, you've only spent $12,000 and you still have $88,000 in the bank. Who's the wealthier person? Because at the end of the year, Charmaine still has a place to live. Ruth has no money left and she's on the street crying. And so I saw Ruth's face go down, very sad. Okay, it's a different Ruth, not you, Ruth, as Berea.
yeah, I know.
Anyway, that's always that part from the book, that the fact that your wealth is measured in how long you can survive at your current
Yes.
standard of living with no income. It's changed the way I do everything. Now, I don't care if I'm driving a car that's a little bit less expensive than my friends, or if I'm living in maybe a smaller apartment, or you buy a smaller condo, or you, instead of buying shirts that cost $70, I mean, these shirts, these t-shirts, I buy them, they cost $5 each at Old Navy. And I've learned how, oh my gosh, you're more impressive if you can survive longer and find these deals than if you are making money, but if you lost your job, your standard of living disappears in 1 month because you're living month to month, paycheck to paycheck. So for me, that's the wonder. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive to make massive amounts of money. That would be great if you can increase your income from 10,000 a year to 50, then to 100, then to 1,000,000. Hey, wonderful. But the first step, I think, becoming wealthy is learning how to control your expenses
Yeah.
Yes.
and make sure that you save up enough money so that if you did lose your job tomorrow, you can survive for 6 months. It's taken me the longest time, probably 15 years, for me to save up enough money in the bank that if it's in various places with stocks and in savings accounts and in treasury bonds and stuff, but I could survive for probably 6 months if I made no money for the next 6 months. I'd have to sell a lot of the stuff that I own and sell my stocks and this and that, but it makes you feel so much less stressed when you know that, okay, if I don't get a job tomorrow, it's not a big deal. If I lose my job today, it's okay. Because then I think you can start to take risks because you know that you're not you're not you're not you're not a slave to your job. And I think so many people, if they lost their job today, they say that in the United States, 85% of Americans, if they lost their job, they couldn't even survive a month because they had so little money saved up in the bank. And so when I heard that about 10 years ago, I said, okay, I will never again be one of those people. And do you both have savings accounts where you guys live?
Yes, I do have.
So important. And a lot of people think it's not. I think saving up money is sexy. Do you think it's sexy?
No.
No. You don't think saving up money in the bank is sexy?
Oh, you said that. I thought you said saving money sucks.
No, no, no. I'm saying, I have to remember sometimes when I'm speaking, I have to make sure the jokes are appropriate for the folks, the English level, because you guys maybe didn't understand what I
No, no,
was.
I understood.
Okay, so Ruth got it. Good. Shemaine thought I was asking her, I was going to ask to buy sex from her or something. Like, no.
No,
No, no, no,
no.
no, no, no. I
Uh,
said
I used
I
to, a lot
actually
of people
had.
don't like to, a lot of people don't like to save up money because you can't show off. No one knows that you have money saved in the bank. But if you have a new car, people see the new car. But a lot of people end up with the new car trying to impress people, spending money they didn't have in the first place. And I think it's so much cooler to say, you know what? I don't care about what all these other people think. I'm going to take this money and put half of it into a new car. The other half I'm putting into my savings account so that I can have 6 months of expenses saved up, maybe eventually 9 months of expenses, then a year's worth. I mean, that is my ultimate goal, that I have enough money saved up in the bank that I can just quit whatever job or anything I'm doing, and I'm good for 12 months. What do you girls think?
It's nice, but then the book says that saving like that is not just enough. That you got to do more. You've got to invest.
Oh, I agree. But the idea is you should, too many people, I think, try to invest their money to get them out of their financial troubles. And they invest like it's gambling when they should not be gambling and investing, because it takes time, it takes education, experience. They should first save up some money. What I do is if someone's so eager, I want to invest now, I need to invest now, fine. But take 20% and put it into savings, and then the rest of the money that you can use, go ahead and invest. But if people aren't saving, no matter what, I'm always saving money. Even if I want to invest, I will never invest all of it into the stock market or into a fund, whatever it may be. I want to have money. I want that money that's just there and it's not going to get destroyed when the stock market crashes. I mean, I also have some gold and silver that I buy. It's more expensive than just, you have to save up, and I'll save up some money, and then I'll buy little tiny bars of gold, and I put those into the bank, into a safe deposit box. But those are helpful too, because let's say the American dollar just crashes.
Okay.
You understand that? Who was speaking? Shemaine?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, Ruth, was that you? Oh, I don't know. I thought I heard someone interrupt, but no. But anyway, that I think the whole point of the Rich Dad Poor Dad book is, number one, you need to understand money, and you have to stop constantly buying cars and jewelry and clothing with money you don't have. That is not going to make you wealthy. The only thing that you should first learn how to do basic cash flow management, and then start to build that up more and more. Some people can disagree, but I think the main part of Rich Dad Poor Dad is you have to learn to make money work for you, right?
Yes.
And I think for most people, they work for money. And they work for money so they can impress their friends by spending money that they don't have. And I've learned, I was like that, I think, back in the day when I was younger. Now I think, you know what? I'm on my way to becoming wealthy now. And my credit rating has never been higher. because I'm finally being 100% responsible, because I don't care about impressing anyone. I care about becoming wealthy in the next 10 years. And if people want to think that I'm poor and broke for the next 7 years because I'm not flashing my, look, I have a watch here that costs me $10 on Amazon. And for me, this is great. I'll save that money, save up and put the rest in the bank, put it in the stock market, save up to buy real estate if I decide to do that. So what do the two of you think? Ruth, what are you working on with investments? Are you investing now? Are you saving?
I'm saving, but not investing.
Okay, I think that's very good. The more that you can save, and then the key is make sure you don't take that money and invest in something without doing your research. That's the worst. Someone saves up, they spend 3 years saving up lots of money, and then they find oh my gosh, that's a great opportunity, and they put it all in there, and then 2 weeks later it's gone. You know. So Shemaine, we were talking yesterday, Shemaine is doing some investing. She put $15 recently into an investment fund. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct.
Yeah. Do you also have money saved up in the bank?
Yeah.
She either doesn't have a lot saved up, or she does, and she doesn't like that it's there. She's like,
I don't have a lot saved up, but
for me, I think the other thing too about the savings, which is great, until you're certain that you know what you're doing as an investor, putting the money into savings, it's a good place to put it because you don't spend it. And so it just breaks my heart when someone takes $1,000 and they just throw it into some stock or something, and they don't know anything about the stock market, and then the next day it's at $600. And it's like, oh my gosh, how long did it take for you to raise the 1,000 if you just put it into a savings account and then done research for a long time? You would.
Okay.
What do you
I
think?
understand that, but
Go ahead, Ruth.
I said I think I understand it better now, because after reading the book, I thought that maybe just saving in the bank is not just good, but with your explanations, I get it much better now.
The whole idea is like you don't want to put all your money into savings. Of course not. You want to put a portion of it in there to act as your emergency fund. And with the remainder, then you will invest it. I have a weird echo now for some reason. Very odd. So anyway, that's just like you want to save up money so that no matter what happens, all of your investments, you still have some money left over to allow you to survive for at least. Does that make sense?
Yes.
yeah.
What do you
Very
think?
much. It makes sense.
And you, Shemaine?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I guess what we can do is today, our meeting, this echo is making me crazy. Make sure every week when you get paid, you take some portion of it. 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, and you put it just into a savings account. And you're not allowed to invest it. You're not allowed to lend it to your friends or family. You're not allowed to buy a car with it. You can't go to a concert with it. It's your emergency fund. And yes, maybe if your family needs financial help, that's an emergency. But what I mean is you don't give it to your friend because your friend or your brother wants to buy a new sweater. No, it's an emergency fund, and you keep adding to it until you at least get the month. And then if you have some of the other, maybe you take another 10% of your salary and then invest it. But you have to every week make money. That's the first number one rule of proper financial management.
Okay.
Oh, Chioma just she's from Nigeria too. Let's see if she's going to join us. Well, she was joining. In any case, it was very, very good to see you, Ruth, and you, Shemaine.
Thank you.
For Ruth, you need to finish the book. For Shemaine, you need to read it again. And in fact, hi, Chioma. Oh, she's connecting to audio. It's taking a moment. Oh, and the echo is gone. Oh, terrible. There's another book in this series called Cash Flow Quadrant. And I always recommend anybody who Rich Dad Poor Dad have to read the second Cash Flow Quadrant.
I always recommend anybody who
Because Cash Flow Quadrant, I believe, is more practical. Rich Dad Poor Dad is very philosophical. Cash Flow Quadrant, it really helps you to start figuring out a plan of how you're going to start to create this idea of passive income and using your money more efficiently and effectively. So if you finish Rich Dad Poor Dad, go ahead and start reading Cash Flow Quadrant. If you haven't finished Rich Dad Poor Dad, finish that, then go read Cash Flow Quadrant. Chioma, hey, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
No.
Okay, so we've got Shemaine who's read it, Ruth is halfway through, and then Chioma who hasn't read it at all yet. So your homework, Chioma, is to find Rich Dad Poor Dad and read it before the end of this month. You understand?
Yes, no problem.
That is your very, very important homework. Ruth, am I right? Shemaine, she has to read it before the end of the month, right?
Yes, she has to. She needs to.
Ruth, which city in Nigeria do you live in?
I live in Onitsha.
And how far is that from Lagos?
Very far.
Okay, so you guys can't go and hang out together.
No.
Okay, maybe one day we'll have a big Nigerian powwow and you guys will all come to Lagos, or we'll see.
Okay, that would be fun.
That sounds great. Well, it was wonderful to see the three of you and hear you, Shemaine. One day you will have the courage to turn on your camera. And so for those again who are watching on YouTube, this has been a break diving production. You can please subscribe to our channel, share with your friends, share a comment, click like. And if you actually want to get even more involved rather than just passively watching on YouTube, you can join us at breakdiving.io. You can find the subscription link in the description and come join the most supportive, friendly, inspirational, and motivating, friendly community on the internet. And we've got people from all over the world, as you can say. Today we have our three members from Africa, but we have people from absolutely everywhere. And it just depends on who's available that day, who ends up joining our events. So let's everybody wave. I guess everybody, it's just Monroe and Ruth because Chioma and Shemaine turned off there. And bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.